Morning, everyone. Happy to see you all waking up early on a Saturday, committed. Day five, right? So already day five, almost the first week done. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope it's sort of like, moving fast for you by the end of, in no time we'll be at the end of this and we'll have this really awesome relationship with a little ritual, which hopefully will generate a lot of peace for you in your life in this chapter, but also in future chapters. And so this just leads me to a thought before we get into what we need to get into. Consider that what a lot of this is you're developing, simply said, a strategy to cope with the inevitable sufferings that arise in life. If you look at animals, maybe like grazing animals like wildebeest versus a squirrel or a bear that will change its behavior in relationship to the weather, there's an innate intelligence to an animal that can foresee or interacts with future events before they actually arise, right? They're essentially interacting with the predictable but as of yet unmanifest. And in that they are playing with imagination and recognizing patterns and priming themselves for said future. And there's intelligence in that, as stated. And so for us, it's like, we're doing all this stuff. It's exciting to learn new words, to learn new strategies, to have the experiences that come out of our practice. Often things like epiphanies and pleasurable sensations and deep moments of connection. But this is all most practically about, developing a buffer or a space in which the doom and the chaos and the inevitable reality of loss that occurs in life, a space in which we can rest to save ourselves from the grief of those chapters. And so what I found in my life is you're building these skills, and when these moments arise, one particularly difficult week, one particularly difficult year, one particularly difficult chapter, you will instinctually resort to these spaces. It might not look exactly the same. You might not use Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. You might not chant the Om, but all of these techniques have given you and will give you a relationship to a space that is immune from the ups and downs of the external world. And the yogis believe that what that immunized space is and is the soul. Because it stays so balanced in a world that is so dynamic. It remains unchanged where everything else, our bodies, our relationships, our careers, our society, our earth, everything else is in a state of flux. So think about it. You're priming yourself. You're creating this trove of experience and wisdom for some future calamity, some shadow that's out there. We all have that waiting for us. We have many shadows and storms waiting for all of us. So think about that. What we're going to get into today, it's the final little piece to our posture as a work of art. And so we've built upon this idea of art as transcendental in the sense that it communicates a message that is not perceivable in the world, but perceivable by the human heart or mind. And our postures, the way we hold ourselves, our right hand touching the earth, our left hand cupped like an empty bowl, represents such a thing. It represents the inclusivity of this practice, that in the moment where you start chanting, the moment you start meditating, you are connected to the body, you are connected to the real, you are connected to the rational and logical by keeping your hands touching the earth. But you are also connected to the spiritual and the transcendent and the experience of emptiness and the hope of soul, which is represented in the left hand, sort of in the shape of an empty bowl. The final piece is our eyes, and the way we hold our eyes is more practical, actually, than the symbolism of the actual body. And so what we're going to work to do today before we play with the Drishti. The Drishti is how we hold our eyes. We should talk about Nadis and we should talk about our nervous system. And again, the reason the eyes are practical is because it is tethered to the activity of our sympathetic nervous system. If you take a second to look a little bit closer at your screen, attempt to sort of maybe even look me in the eyes, what you should feel is a surge in wakefulness and a surge in presence. And that's because all the little muscles in the iris are bonded to the sympathetic nervous system, so that when you are stressed, your body is programmed to dilate, to fixate on what it sees, right? To pinpoint visually the the problem or the resource that's exciting you. And so yogis use their eyes, use the way they're looking into the world or into their closed eyelids as a means of generating that wakefulness. And this is called Drishti. It is the practice of the gaze. And so when we practice today, and from this point on, what we will utilize is shunyata drishti. Shunya means void. And so when you close your eyes are not simply closed, but you're actively looking into the darkness of your closed eyes. And that is going to prevent you from maybe falling asleep, which tends to happen in practice. Maybe not when you're chanting, but in general mindfulness, students tend to fall asleep because their eyes are shutting down, their sympathetic nervous system, their stress response is dissolving, which seems good, but their parasympathetic response, their tranquility response builds to such heights that they actually go unconscious. They get too relaxed. And so as a practitioner, you want to find for yourself this really perfect balance between wakefulness, sympathetic stress, positive stress, and calm, parasympathetic sort of effect. And so we'll work with this, and it'll be nice to actually feel, as you focus your eyes, the stress sort of buzzing up through your body, waking you up. But a couple things, where does this all come from? It comes from the Chandogya Upanishad. And so the Chandogya Upanishad is an old book. It's one of the first mentions of the Om, and we'll get to that later on in this challenge, but it's also one of the first mention of the Nadis. And so the Nadis are the currents of energy that move through the body. The yogis did not sort of dissect or study the physical anatomy of the human organism, right? Hinduism, they would burn the bodies, and so there's nothing really left to study except charred remains. And so they inferred through what they felt that the body was made of vessels and that they could feel these vessels moving in specific patterns. The mapping out of these patterns was eventually sort of labeled the Nadi system. And there are supposedly hundreds of thousands of Nadis that run through, or energy currents that run through the body. The key to mysticism, from the chi of China to the prana and the chakra systems of India, the key to physical mysticism is your capacity to believe and feel this energy. What this energy probably is blood flowing through veins and arteries, maybe the signaling of your nervous system firing in your tissues. It might just be air pressure and air temperature on the skin. But whatever it is perceivable when you focus upon it. And as you focus upon it, there is a heightened sense of presence and a deeper state of calm. And so you can reduce the mysticism and the mystery and turn it into the practical, but that does not alter the positive effects of feeling your body in this way. And so the first sutra or sloka that mentions these nadis goes something like this. Shatam chaika cha hridayasya nadyas. And so there exists within the heart area, hridayasya, 101 chaika cha nadyas, energy centers. And so what we're going to do as we chant the Om today is focus on hridayasya, focus on this heart center, and just attempt to feel buzzing and tingling and channels. 101 is not the point to focus on. The point to focus on is that you can feel something happening in your chest when you chant. We're also going to use the Drishti. The Drishti is the gaze that will activate one of the three main nadis, Pingala. Pingala is the masculine solar channel, which is more than likely yogis feeling the sympathetic nervous system fire as they do some techniques, labeling it as solar, labeling it as powerful. Pingala actually means orange or tani. So when someone gets sort of fired up, they see red, right? Their eyes are overwhelmed with fury, with light, with anger, with ferocity. And so all of this lines up into the biology. And hopefully what you'll find at the end of this practice is that you can control your wakefulness and control your presence by activating Pingala, activating your stress response. That's going to help you with the main point of all of this work, which is not the Om, and it's not nadis, and it's not vibration, it's focus. Whatever you focus on, if you can focus powerfully, you will enter a meditative experience. Cool, sweet. Hope that all made sense. It'll make more sense as we talk through it a second time during your practice. And so this is what we're going to do. Let's get into a strong seated position, position number 1. So both wrists resting on knees. Hips tilt forward, spine is tall. And again, take the bend out of your elbows. And so immediately when you straighten your arms, there's this sense, I don't really want to straighten my arms. I want to keep them a little bit relaxed. But as you straighten your arms, there is this wakefulness, this stress, maybe a little anxiety, but presence. And if you settle into that instruction, confidence. And so your posture is activating Pingala. It's activating the sympathetic nervous system. It's activating one of the three main Nadis. And you can physiologically feel the effect. You can psychologically feel the effect. That's cool. Keep your hands open and focus on your fingertips. The nerve density in your fingertips far exceeds the nerve density in the rest of your body, because we use our hands to touch and explore the world the same way a shark uses its mouth, the same way a cat uses its whiskers. That buzz, which is nerve sensation and air pressure and blood flow, that is the energy. That is the Nadi system. And the quality of this sensation, vibratory, is pleasurable. Now slow down the breath, breathe into your stomach, breathe into your chest, just avoid the upper collarbone. A review from previous lessons, because the upper lobes of the lungs activate the sympathetic nervous system. They activate Pingala, which we have already activated through our posture, but we don't need more. The lower lobes of the lungs activate the Nadi Ida, or the sympathetic nervous system, or parasympathetic nervous system, excuse me. They activate peace. And so like molten lava running down the slopes of an active volcano, eventually touching the cool waters of the ocean, one part of your body is activated through stress, the other part is activated through calm. Try to feel that. Now, the stress is positive. It just wakes you up. It shouldn't be burdensome. And so the great idea behind this posture is that you are awake enough to appreciate the heightened peace that's being generated through your breath. When you feel that sense of heightened peace, just bring your hands to heart center. Push the whole world away. It's just you and that tranquility, you and Shanti. And then bring your wrists back to your knees to resume posture one. From here, if you haven't done so yet, bring a random finger to each thumb, and we're going to work with the Drishti. We're going to work with our gaze. Everything stays still. Keep the mind empty, as if you, the individual, are not there. And with a breath in, open your eyes and look intensely into the space in front of you. And with an exhale, close your eyes. Take a few breaths. And so there are many examples in which our culture and biology utilize a sort of gaze that might provoke you in feeling the effect in the nervous system. One are prize fighters and boxers, the stare down before a match. Both opponents stare into each other's face, channeling their aggression, attempting to intimidate their opponent. The other is the way a tiger stalks its prey. The other is the face of a partner or a friend when they are angry, screaming blindly. And so we all have memories of these. So with the next breath in, utilizing those memories, that information, open your eyes and embody it. Stare powerfully into the space in front of you as if it were an opponent. Stare powerfully into the space in front of you as if it were prey. Stare powerfully into the space in front of you as if you were angry, and you will feel your body change. Wakefulness, confidence, Pingala, sympathetic stress. Exhale, close the eyes, keep the spine tall. Come back to your breath, breathe into the belly. Avoid the upper chest, notice that tranquility. Last time, with a breath in, open your eyes. Control the muscles in the iris. Notice that wakefulness. Exhale, close the eyes. And so now look into the darkness of your closed eyes with the same intensity. See the blackness or see the shades of color. But look. And that's going to ensure that you stay awake enough to experience the subtle effects of your practice, especially the physical vibration. Shatam cha ikacha hridayasya nadyas. In your heart, there are many vibratory channels. Focus on them, and meditation will occur. Let's come into posture 2. Bhumi Sparsha, left hand like the empty bowl rests on the lap. Right arm is straight, just rotate your hand down to the earth. Place your fingers on the floor. Lengthen the spine, the same effect of wakefulness. Again, stare into the blackness of your closed eyes, shunyata drishti, the same effect of wakefulness. So now the physical instrument, antakarana, is prepared symbolically and biologically. Your right hand, upaya, touches the earth. The earth, the whole world, is the witness of your practice, the witness of your exploration. The left hand, prajna, is wisdom, because you have the faith, shraddha, that there is a soul, there is an inner experience, and that these arbitrary games actually mean something when you look closely. Slow down your breath. Check in with your mind. The goal is peace. When you're ready, gently, quietly chant the Om. Your eyes focus on the blackness of your closed eyelids, but your mind, your perception and attention focuses on your chest. Just feel the vibration. Everything else disappears. Your willingness to participate in this posture and in this chant is enough. You don't have to understand it. Don't let your intellect interfere with the experience. Hold your body and your eyes this way to stay awake. Chant the sound to feel the body vibrate. And notice that that vibration is pleasurable. That through it, what was numb, the inner experience of our flesh and our bones, is enlivened. And through that sensation, you are gently reminded of yourself. Something like this. Deepen your focus on the chest. Shatam cha ikacha. Hridayasya nadyas. In your chest, there is energy. Chant one more Om and then hold silence. And as you hold silence, listen to the world around you. Feel your environment, but at the same time, acknowledge your inner space. And as you rest in silence, appreciate that there is an ordinary, and within the ordinary, there is a mystery. There is the physical. But when we look at the physical, it's broken into a spectrum, tangible to intangible, knowable to unknowable. The common denominator to all of this is energy, vibration, movement. And under the philosophies of dualism, if there is movement, there is stillness. The only point of perfect stillness exists within the individual. And so feel it all, and somehow position yourself at the center, the unmoving mystery, engulfed and surrounded in the beautiful hurricane of existence. Slow, tranquil breaths. Keep the mind focused. Did you let go of your drishti? Look into the darkness of your closed eyes. Notice the effect. Feel the center of your chest is vibratory. Take one more perfectly patient breath into the belly, into the chest. Avoid the collarbone. Exaggerate the length of your exhale. See where that takes you. Gracefully bring your hands to heart center. And so let's all just connect to the cause, the reason we practice. The truth is, because we are dissatisfied, as all people are, and we are plagued by a great confusion of separation and differentiation. We believe we are apart from the world, and that can generate emotions of aloneness, emotions of doubt. The great mystic truth is learning to sense in a figurative but eventually literal way that there is no separation. Everything is a vibratory expression of energy. And the stepping stones to that epiphany are learning to feel vibration in the body. Does that state of mind ever completely override our rationality? Who can say? But when we lean into it, usually there is a positive effect. So consider that energy. And appreciate the mystery. Appreciate the thirst for that mystery. Thumb knuckles to third eye center. Again, new aspect of the closing ritual. Gently press your thumbs into the skin of your forehead. The prime skill is focus. If you look into anything enough, you will discover that that something is more than what it looked like, more than what it presented itself as. Our senses can only behold so much of the world's information. But it takes dharana to really see the heart of things. And so focus so much on that point on your forehead that other parts of the body literally blur out. And acknowledge those little blips of amnesia. With an exhale, release your wrist to your knees, posture 1. Random finger to each thumb. The ornamental addition to our practice, look into your closed eyes one last time. With a breath in, open your eyes. Stay in a meditative state. Focus intensely into the space in front of you without aggression, just positive stress. Activate Pingala, the solar energy channel, your sympathetic nervous system. Blink your eyes, wash the trance away, notice that. And repeat in the mind, I am no longer meditating. Awesome work, everyone. That is our posture, that is our art. From here, we'll just explore the Om itself and really get into the vibratory experience of the body. If you have any questions, this is very mystical. The Om is very mystical. You can't extract it because it is truly arbitrary. You can't extract it from its mysticism. But I feel personally that mysticism is what we're looking for in our lives, not the peace and the calm of mindfulness. What we are really looking for is modern people inundated with technology and progress and sort of subconsciously competing with the productivity of our technology. What we're really looking for is a completely alternative path. And marrying the mystical with the modern is a really, really beautiful thing. It opens up the world, and I'm hoping that you're starting to feel that as you rest there in silence, how expansive the world is, how tiny the human experience is, and in that there is a different sort of peace. Beautiful. All right, I'll see you all tomorrow, round 6.